At Thanksgiving dinner, my husband held my hand and told everyone how lucky he was to have me. 3 hours later, I found a text from his coworker. Last night was amazing. Again. I read it while holding our son on my lap. I didn't say anything. But on Christmas morning, I gave him an envelope. Inside was a flash drive, divorce papers, and a note. I know everything. You have until New Year's. I want to tell you how betrayal really feels. Not the stuff you see in movies. Not the kind where someone runs out into the rain and screams at the sky. No. Real betrayal is quiet. It's slow. It seeps in like cold air under a door. You feel it before you understand what it is. It started on Thanksgiving. We were in Nags Head, North Carolina, in a beach house we rented with family. My husband Ben and I had been married 6 years. We had a 3-year-old son named Elijah. We looked happy. Hell, we were supposed to be happy. The day was packed with the usual stuff. Cooking, chasing Elijah around, setting the table, laughing with his sister Marla and her fiancé. My parents had flown in too. It was one of those picture-perfect holidays. Dinner was served at 5. Elijah sat in his booster seat between us. The table was full: ham, stuffing, potatoes, cranberry sauce from a can because that's the only kind my mom eats. Everyone was talking over each other, drinking wine, passing dishes. Then Ben stood up with his glass. I just want to say something real quick, he said. People quieted down. He reached across the table and took my hand. I remember it felt warm and steady. I'm thankful for this woman, he said. She's the reason this family works. She takes care of our home, our son, and somehow still finds time to love me. I know I don't say it enough, but I'm lucky. Really lucky. Everyone clapped. My mom wiped her eyes. Even Marla nodded at me like, you got a good one. I smiled. I believed it. That night, after dinner, I put Elijah in pajamas and rocked him to sleep on the couch. He was heavy in my lap, his head against my chest, his little hand wrapped around my finger. The house was calm. Quiet music played from someone's phone in the kitchen. Ben handed me his phone and said, Hey, can you check that UPS tracking? I ordered that Lego set for Elijah and I want to make sure it ships on time. I opened his phone. He didn't even hesitate giving me the passcode. I tapped into his email, found the tracking number. It was shipping. Then a text popped down from the top of the screen. Last night was amazing. Again. Can't stop thinking about you. Face blowing a kiss. I stared at it. My first thought wasn't rage. It wasn't sadness. It was disbelief. I read it again. Same message. I looked at Elijah. He shifted in his sleep, sighing softly. I didn't open the text. I didn't respond. I just held his phone, staring at that one sentence while my entire marriage shattered in my chest. I didn't confront Ben that night. Or the next day. Or the next week. Instead, I got smart. I watched. I waited. I made lists. Who was M? I didn't know yet. I had my guesses. He worked in IT at a small marketing firm in Raleigh. His team was small. Mostly men. Except for one woman, Monica. She joined 6 months ago. Young. Blonde. Used to work in Charlotte. I met her once at the company picnic. She complimented my shoes. I started checking Ben's behavior. His habits. Every time he said working late or just heading to the gym, I took notes. I remembered the trips. The weird hotel receipts that didn't match his conference schedule. I remembered that night 3 weeks ago when he said he was at the office, but came home with a deep scratch on his back. He said he bumped into the copier. I remembered everything. The week after Thanksgiving, I called my cousin Kyle. He works cybersecurity for a law firm. I need to recover deleted messages from Ben's phone, I said. He paused. Okay, he said. You sure? Very. He didn't ask why. He just told me what he needed. I backed up Ben's phone on our home computer and sent Kyle the files. 2 days later, he sent me a folder labeled Read Alone. I opened it at 3:15 a.m., sitting in the laundry room with the dryer running so Ben wouldn't hear me cry. There were over 200 texts between Ben and Monica. They'd been sleeping together for 4 months. First time was during a work trip to Charlotte. Second time was in our guest room, while I was out with friends. She sent him selfies. He called her baby girl. One message said, "When I'm inside you I forget everything else." I threw up into the laundry sink. There were voice notes, too. One said, "She's clueless. She still thinks I'm the guy from our wedding day." That was the moment something inside me died. I met with a lawyer the next day. I want a divorce, I told him. We went over assets. Custody. The house. He asked me if I wanted to serve him before the holidays. No, I said. He gets Christmas. Then it's mine. Christmas morning was quiet. Just the 3 of us. Elijah was thrilled about his toys. Ben made waffles. I smiled. I played along. Then I handed him a box. It was small. Wrapped in gold paper. He looked confused. What's this? Something personal, I said. He opened it. Inside was a flash drive, an envelope, and a note. He read the note first. I know everything. You have until New Year's. His hands trembled. What is this? He whispered. He opened the envelope. Inside were divorce papers. Custody agreement. List of dates and evidence. He looked up at me, pale. Elise, please. Can we talk? I got up. Picked up Elijah. Walked into the kitchen and turned on the blender. He thought I'd cry. Instead, I took the house and his secrets. Ben didn't leave right away. I knew he wouldn't. Cowards never do. They hang around hoping you'll change your mind, hoping you'll make it easier for them. He begged me for days. On December 26th, he followed me from room to room. Elise, please. It didn't mean anything. It was just sex. I love you. I love our family. I didn't answer. I packed up Elijah's Christmas toys into a bin and labeled it Winter 2024. I taped the box shut. He kept going. You're really gonna throw all this away? For one mistake? One. I said, finally turning to him. Ben, there are hotel bills. Multiple. You brought her into our house. You didn't make a mistake. You lived in it. That shut him up for a minute. Later that night, he slept on the couch. I locked the bedroom door. He texted me from downstairs, "Please don't do this." I read it and turned off my phone. By the 28th, things got uglier. He started to fight back. I'm not leaving the house, he said. I paid the mortgage. Half of this is mine. No, I said. Our money paid this house. And I already filed for temporary possession. My lawyer served the paperwork this morning. He went quiet for a second. Then he laughed, mean, bitter. So this is who you are now? Cold bitch with a lawyer and a flash drive? I was always this person, I said. You just thought I'd never show her to you. On the 30th, he moved into a hotel. Not by choice. I found out he'd been using our joint account to Venmo Monica. Little things, coffee, Uber, lunch. I printed the statements and gave them to my lawyer. My lawyer called his. His lawyer told him to leave the house before he made things worse for himself. That night, Ben stood in the doorway with a suitcase. Elise. I just don't understand how you can be so okay with this. I'm not okay, I said. I just stopped pretending. He looked like he wanted to say something else. But he didn't. He walked out. New Year's Eve. I poured a glass of wine and watched Elijah play with his toy train set on the rug. I made it all day without thinking about Ben. Until my phone buzzed. It was a number I didn't recognize. But I knew who it was. This is Monica. Can we talk? I stared at the message. Then I replied, about what? About Ben. He told me you didn't know. He said you were separated. I took a breath. I walked into the bathroom and locked the door. He lied. We were never separated. There was a pause. He told me you cheated first. I almost laughed. No. I didn't. But thanks for letting me know he lied to both of us. I thought that would be the end. But then she sent one more message. I'm pregnant. She said she was pregnant. I said, congratulations. But that wasn't the twist. When Monica told me she was pregnant, I just stood there staring at the screen. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. I felt nothing. Not at first. Then something strange happened. I smiled. Not because I was happy. But because that meant Ben had just handed me more leverage than I ever expected. I didn't respond right away. I let her sit with it. Let her feel that cold silence that Ben would never give her. He was the type who always had to reply. I wasn't. 10 minutes later, she sent another message. I didn't know about you. I swear. I wouldn't have, I interrupted. You did. You met me. At the picnic. I didn't know you were still together. He said it was just for the kid. You believed him. That's on you. Then I blocked her. I called my lawyer the next morning and told him everything. He paused after I said the words, she's pregnant. This changes things, he said. I figured, I said. Do you want to pursue full custody? I said yes. Ben didn't know I knew about the baby yet. So I waited until we were face to face. He came to pick up Elijah on January 2nd for his first overnight. He stood in the doorway like he was still welcome. I'll bring him back Sunday night, he said, taking Elijah's coat. I nodded. Then I said, tell Monica I hope the baby's healthy. His hands froze mid-zipper. What? I know, I said. She texted me. He stared at me like I had just slapped him. That's not, Elise, listen, it's not even confirmed. She might not, you know what? I don't care, I said. But you'd better hope that kid's yours. Otherwise, you gave up your life for nothing. 2 weeks later, Ben's boss called me. I was folding laundry when I got the voicemail. I played it twice. Hi, Mrs. Delaney, this is Cheryl from HR at Stratus Marketing. I was wondering if you had a few minutes to speak privately about a situation involving your husband and another employee. My stomach dropped. I called her back. She didn't waste time. We received a formal complaint last week, she said. It appears Ben was having a relationship with a junior staff member while she was reporting to him. Now she's alleging harassment. I didn't say anything. We're conducting an internal investigation, but if you have any communications or documentation that could help, we'd appreciate your cooperation. I had a flash drive. I had timestamps. I had everything. I can email you something, I said. The next day, I got a text from Ben. You told my job? They asked. I answered. I could lose everything. Then you should have valued something. The end of the marriage wasn't the end of the story. It was the start of the fire. Ben lost his job 2 weeks after HR called me. The investigation didn't just uncover the affair, it uncovered that he had used company money for one of the hotel rooms. They labeled it a misuse of funds. He was fired without severance. I didn't cheer. I didn't throw a party. I just sat on the back porch and watched Elijah draw on the patio with chalk while Ben's world fell apart behind the scenes. He showed up at my door the next day, looking 10 years older. "I'm ruined," he said. "I can't get hired anywhere. She's not even returning my calls." "She?" I asked. "Monica," he said, eyes tired. "She moved back to Charlotte. Said she needed space." I looked at him hard. "So she was good enough to wreck your marriage for, but not good enough to follow?" "She tricked me," he snapped. "She told me she loved me. That we had a future." I shook my head. "You really thought she'd raise a kid with a broke, jobless cheater?" He didn't answer. 2 months later, the divorce was finalized. I got full physical custody of Elijah, the house, the car, and a monthly support payment based on Ben's severance before it was stripped. He tried to argue the amount. My lawyer shut him down with the flash drive. The judge didn't say much, but I'll never forget her final words. "Mr. Delaney, this court finds that your actions were not only deceitful but selfish to the point of neglect. Be grateful you're getting visitation." He didn't even look at me as we walked out of the courtroom. It's been 6 months now. I work from home, doing part-time content editing for a law firm. The same one my cousin Kyle works for. They made room for me when they heard what I went through. I see a therapist every Thursday. I still hear Elijah ask where Daddy is. I still tell him the same thing, Daddy's figuring things out. Because no matter what Ben did, Elijah didn't choose any of it. I don't plan to tell him everything. At least not until he's old enough to understand the weight of betrayal. But here's the truth, I made mistakes, too. I ignored signs. I accepted less than I deserved for too long. I gave second chances when I should have drawn the line. So no, I'm not innocent. But I'm not broken anymore, either. Last week, Monica sent one final message from a new number. "I lost the baby." I stared at it for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't feel anything but a strange, hollow relief. Then she added, "I guess we both lost everything for nothing." I didn't respond. Because I didn't lose everything. I lost Ben. But I kept myself. And that's worth more than any toast at any table will ever be.